Herzlich willkommen heute zu einer ganz besonderen Folge. Unser 959 Paris-Dakar wird heute den ersten Kilometer absolvieren.
Well, Jackie, thank you very much for this ride.
For what?
Yeah, for this ride. And
For what?
The nice drift.
For driving in the snow? Huh? It's totally unexpected. Yes.
So how does it feel for you? I mean, the car has been gently restored by the crew of the Porsche Museum, which I think did an incredible job. So what was the feeling of doing the first meters after that? Did some memories come back from the Paris-Dakar?
Honestly, first of all, it's a fantastic job to restore it and to have still the car existing almost 39 years afterwards. You have to remember, the challenge is to make out of a sport car, and it's a 959, that means a quite sophisticated car, a car who is able to beat classic off-road vehicle made for.
Wow.
On that aspect, clearly, there was a group of engineers up there who play an important role in it. And I like to mention Roland Cousmol, number one. And the second one is the decision of the head of the development at the time, Helmut Bott, who accept the idea of doing that incredible challenge. But there was one thing he knew. It was the first time that Porsche developed a four-wheel drive transmission, and the Dakar was just the perfect test for it. But it was a big challenge. So the idea of seeing me doing in '83 the Paris-Dakar with the Mercedes Gay and all these things, and having the idea to enter the East African safari car of Val de Garde, modified into a specific car for Paris-Dakar, and a four-wheel drive transmission is the key of this incredible success. That means entering 3 times, winning 2 times with the famous French driver René Mech.
Wow. When you just said that this was really the sports car, the Porsche 959 Dakar, so what was the handling about this car, and what was the specialties and the advantages of the 959 compared to the competition?
The first point is that nobody thought in those days we would be successful. But we knew we could do it. And to succeed, we went in September in Algeria. We went to Taman Rasset in the mountains to try the rocky sections. We went in the desert, we went in the dunes. And that's where we have built up our success, in advance, in a way. Now, honestly, to see a Porsche 959 cruising in the Tenerife desert, and the desert it's not flat, although the dune looks flattened, to see that car cruising at 230 kilometers per hour, that was made by René Mech, not me, I must admit. At 210 I stop, I lift off.
Wow.
Because the desert, it's like the sea. There is not a single dune which is the same. As in the sea, you feel all the waves are the same. It's not true. Suddenly, for an unknown reason, you have a wave which is much higher, much deeper, and then you have a problem. The desert is exactly the same. But you have to imagine that car, the 959 road version that everybody wanted in those days, twin turbo, some electronics, the four-wheel drive transmission, doing 12,000 kilometers on 3 weeks.
Wow.
With stages that are 8 hours long, 320 liters of fuel, and you have to make the distance at a time with a very limited group of people. All together, the team, when that car won the Dakar, 18 people, 5 mechanics in the plane. The Rennleiter Peter Falk was head of it. 6 people in 2 trucks, 8 by 8, wheel transmission and a 6x6 with 2 drivers, 2 mechanics and 2 people to maintain the stock of parts eventually. Plus the 6 drivers, 18 people.
Wow.
It's a marathon. It's like a triathlon, let's say. The mountain, the rocky section, the sand, and all this. And that's the reason why we are together today,
Yes.
because what has been done at that time, and although the time has run away, it has made this car and the first one, the 911, an iconic car.
Absolutely.
We are honoring those people,
Absolutely.
and also probably the hardest race you have on this world, because 3 weeks non-stop, the mileage, the difficulties, the mud sometimes, the sand, the dry. It was a real adventure, and that belongs to the story of Porsche, because every step at Porsche, there is a technical reason, development reason behind it, and that was make Porsche so famous in the world.
Wow.
It's an incredible brand, 75 years old, or almost 75 years old, and yes, we have been part of it.
Yes. I mean, this is for me hard to imagine. I have a very, very special relationship with Roland Kusma, because he chose me back then as a Porsche Junior. And I remember when I joined Porsche, sometimes I asked him, and he would sometimes try to share some stories from the Dakar back in the days, and I could not imagine. And still I cannot up to this day, because this is sounds so unique, you know. And I remember as a kid some of the footages where the helicopters, I think, couldn't catch you or couldn't keep up with the speed. I mean, this is what I remember, but I mean, doing this like for weeks in this car with this power, and I just got a small taste of it running beside you, and it's a powerful car, which like perfectly handling, but to go like on rocks and all these different types, this is just incredible, you know. For
and
me.
it's a sport car, but you're right to mention Roland Kusmol and the guys who made the car, because every adventure, every goal, every challenges, it's made by humans. And when you are saying that, you're just honoring those
Absolutely.
who make the success of a company, in case of Porsche, or the success of an adventure. It's made by men. And you know, as a driver yourself, having been 2 times world champion, you know that the essential of the job is done by people you don't see.
Exactly. Yep.
You are the
100%.
top of the iceberg. We are the top of the iceberg. But underneath, you're just honoring those who give you the right car and the right tool to win.
100%.
And that's the case with with this exceptional story.
100%. When we go back to 1986, there was a double victory. René Metsch won. You finished second, so a wonderful double victory for Porsche. Do you have memories now sitting behind the wheel, how the edition of the 1986 Paris-Dakar went? And what was the difficulties at the time?
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
When you go back in a car you have used in the past and you didn't expect to drive it, especially in this incredible surrounding, it's totally... Well, we are a little bit in the mountains, so we haven't tried the rocky section yet. But yes, it's emotional, but it makes me think about those who made it possible. And you know, winning, you never know if you're going to win, because, for example, we were all stuck before the day before the arrival, when we arrive in Senegal, where you have all that water near the sea and all the... We were all stuck, but in a bath of mud that you cannot even believe. Okay. There are some pictures existing. Yeah. On that moment when we tried to cross almost a lake with a lot of mud, and we all started as fast as we could to reach the other side, and 10 meters before the end we were all stuck. Incredible. All the cars, the 3 cars stuck in the mud, and we didn't know how to go out of it. And finally we made it. There are pictures of Roland that you have mentioned. Yes. He's covered with mud. Yes. Yes. You know, because we are just taking a bath of it. But we made it, and then, as you said, the ending of the third attempt was the right one, because we were first and second. and that's the reason why we are all together here, honoring these people and that car who is so special.
And you were, initiating or helping initiating this project back in the time, and this is, for me, just incredible, because I think also at that time in the 80s, Porsche was successful in Formula One with the engine. They were winning in Group C at Le Mans multiple times, World Endurance Championship, and the Dakar. And I think you couldn't be more versatile than that.
You're absolutely right. That's the total extreme. Yes. Porsche built up its history through successes, 917, 956, 962, 936. Everywhere you mentioned Formula One engine by Metzger, yes. And it's still the case. Enfin, now you're approaching other goals in the close future. But yes, I was the man at the start with the basic idea of doing it. But what I didn't know, that it was at the end was going to be a success. And the success came by those people who work in what I call in the shadow.
But that's a good point. So I have a small favor to ask. Do you think that I could do maybe 1 or 2 laps myself to get the experience of the 959 Paris-Dakar?
You can do as many laps you want. You are welcome.
Oh, okay.
But remember, you're the first one to drive it on snow conditions.
After you.
You are maybe the Walter Röhrl of the situation, in the Monte Carlo. Well.
I tried my best. I think I was just scratching the surface. What the car gave me was unbelievable grip. And for a circuit driver, I cannot imagine a car, handling like that and the grip like that on a gravel, even though, with snow. Then there was some small path down there with big rocks. I mean, for here, this was quite, amazing. Like I said, I was just scratching the top of the surface, and it was still something special and unique to drive,
Do you realize you were not born when we ran that car in the Paris-Dakar?
I was born. I was in
No, come on,
kindergarten.
no.
But now you make me blush because I look younger, right?
Well, what about going back?
One last time?
Yeah.
Okay, but I believe I'm only the co-pilot, and this is okay.
Yes, I'm sorry for you. I'm the oldest one, so it's
for sure.
normal.
For sure. So Kuno, wie war es für dich heute, den 959 nach monatelanger Arbeit und Wiederaufbau fahren zu sehen?
Boah, das kann man kaum in Worte zusammenfassen. Ich finde es einfach sensationell, den Wagen jetzt heute wieder fahren zu sehen. Das war einfach kaum mit Worte zu beschreiben.
Und für das Museumsteam, also für deine Crew, wie war das heute, den 959 wieder zu bewegen mit dem Originalfahrer? Ich meine, das macht ja die Geschichte erlebbar und begreifbar eigentlich. Oder?
Ja, du sagst es gerade. Das Thema ist natürlich, auf der einen Seite war das Auto jahrelang jetzt nur gestanden und jetzt ist eine neue Symbiose da und wir haben den restauriert, sehr sanft, aber dennoch hart fahrbar und dementsprechend steht das ganze Team da und zeigt den Daumen nach oben und sind sehr, sehr happy drüber.
Wow. Jackie, if you describe your revival with your 959 Paris-Dakar today in just 3 words, what would that be?
It will be, without any doubt, memories, emotions, passion.
Wow, I get goosebumps. That's very special. Ich kann nur sagen, ich habe es sehr genossen, heute die Runden mit Jackie zusammen zu fahren, natürlich auf dem Beifahrersitz. Aber selber meine paar Runden, die ich selber fahren durfte, war natürlich für mich auch ganz speziell, weil neues Terrain und den 959 bin ich persönlich noch nie gefahren. Ich hoffe, euch hat es gefallen und ich bin mir sicher, wir sehen uns ganz bald wieder. Bis bald, ciao.